Am I good enough? Can I get this task done? Do I have what it takes to achieve the next goal? Do I deserve to be here with all those smart and successful people? Does any of these questions ring a bell for you? Well, they definitely do for me. As I was preparing for this TED Talk, one of the data scientists on my team asked me, Basma, imposter syndrome, are you familiar with it? I said, familiar? We're friends. I'd like to take you on a journey of how we became friends. But first, let me introduce you into the world of data science. Data science as a field aims to leverage statistics and computer science in the business world. My academic journey started as a double major student, majoring in actuarial science and business at AUC. Actuarial science is just a lot of applied statistics, right? And very early on, I was fascinated by how you can apply technical skills in the business domain. Later on in my academic journey, I studied operations research and information engineering at Cornell University, and that's where I received a lot of my training in computer science. Very early on in the journey, I learned to embrace the complexity of learning a new technical skill. There is no magic pill in learning a new skill. Imagine yourself, a second-year university student in a math class. The professor is deriving a formula on the board. You're barely trying to keep up. The person next to you, ever so effortlessly, starts deriving the formula before the professor says the formula on the board. Wow, he must be a genius. Or is this magic? Am I missing something? Is there something I should have studied before class? Turns out he was a genius who spent the entire summer studying that material. So he was a genius, but there was no magic. It was a lot of countless hours studying that same concept before the semester started. Fast forward in my master's years, I was taking a very competitive programming class. The assessment was on 5 projects. That's all we needed to do, 5 projects. The first project was assigned. The deadline is in 2 weeks. I now need to do it. But I'm going to deliver the best project there is. I'm going to deliver the best assignment there is. So I start by looking at the problem. This is so hard. I'm going to do a lot of research. I'm going to think about it. And I think about it. And I do more research. And I think about it. And I do more research. And I never start. At the last hour, I start coding for this project. Needless to say, that project didn't go very well. Luckily, all the rest did. And I learned the power of start. Just start. And you don't have to start big. In fact, start small. Prototype. Start with the smallest piece of code you can think about, and then improve. Later on in my career, I learned that this is valuable, whether it's a project, whether it's a coding assignment, a presentation, a plan, doesn't matter. Start small, prototype, and then improve going forward. But where to start? Look for what you know. I think this is particularly powerful because it doesn't start with what you know. It says look for what you know. Most of us, when we're given a new task or a new project, we stress over everything we don't know, everything we don't have, everything we need to learn, everything we need to pick up along the way. I find it to be exceptionally powerful to start by looking for what you know, what you already have, what are your assets. Then break down the rest of the problem like a puzzle, figuring it out piece by piece. So that coding problem, start small, start from the smallest piece of code that you could possibly know, then do some research. Go talk to the professor. Go talk to the TA. Go do some more research. Improve the code. Solve the problem bit by bit until you solve it all. And all through the journey, trust that you'll solve the problem. Now, this is much easier said than done. How do I trust that I'll solve the problem? Trusting that you solve the problem, in my opinion, is what's going to help you not quit solving the problem. But how do you trust that you're going to solve it while you're having down moments, when things are not clear, when you're not sure you can solve the problem? The answer is in your network. Professor Howard Stevenson, professor at Harvard Business School, he's an icon of entrepreneurship. He recommends to think of your network as the board of directors in a company. So not just one mentor that you go to with all sorts of problems and all sorts of situations, rather a diverse, well-rounded group of advisors that you go to for different types of problems and different types of situations. The power of your network comes from its diversity. You want a network that reminds you of your strength, a network that has seen all your previous achievements, all your previous accomplishments, that has seen you try, and that will remind you of all those wins and of all your strength when things get tough, when things don't look as promising. You want to look for a network with experience. And that will mean something different for you over time. That has meant something different for me over time. With experience meant to me first, my TAs, my professors, those people who know more than I do in their domain. But it also became the network of people I met at work, people who have more years of experience than me, people who have perhaps faced those challenges before I did. Now what it means for me, people with different type of experience. We can have the same number of years of experience, but we have experience in different things. And I value that, and I put a lot of weight on that. You want a network that inspires you. One of my very close friends, I met her during my consulting years. Consulting is a very demanding job. Requires a lot of grit and skill. I talked to her and she says, "I'm gorgeous. I'm amazing." And I look at her for inspiration, to remind me that I too am gorgeous. I'm also amazing. I come with a unique skill set that will help me achieve the next goal and achieve the next task. One more thing I want to talk to you about is redefining competence. What does competence mean? What does good enough mean? What does it mean that I can do it? I'm going to go back to that chart that we started with data science. Well, data science lies at the heart of three domains, right? Statistics, computer science, and every business you can think of. So anytime there is an advancement in statistics, or in computer science, or in technology, or in the business domain, my field evolves. And I now need to learn something new. I now need to learn a new skill set, something that will help me achieve the next goal. So does it really make sense to define competence as a fixed state? No, competence is not a fixed state. Competence is a dynamic process of growth. What this means is with every advancement, I start thinking by what are my assets, what am I really good at, where my strengths are, and what do I need to know to fill in the gaps of my knowledge so that I can excel in the next challenge. So thinking about competence as a dynamic process of growth or of filling in the gaps in my knowledge is what I think competence is. Back to imposter syndrome. I really don't think it ever goes away. It never really ever fully goes away. Perhaps you learn to become friends with it. My wish for you is that the next time you have a new project or a new goal, you say, hey, we have a new project. I'm going to take you along with me. Thank you.